It's been bad. We were going over the numbers a little bit while you were out, Aaron, about just how bad it's been at Amalie Arena / Benchmark since this team is just since the last Stanley Cup. It has not been good at home for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And after being eliminated, they came yesterday and spoke to the media. And Andrei Vasilevskiy, a guy who, it's funny, we were just talking about how all goaltenders probably have like a resting heart rate of 40, and they're just like, they're so calm all the time. Listening to Dobish talk about like Game 7, the guy, like, it's like he was talking about what he did at the library that day, and we were talking about just like, this is goaltenders. Like, they never seem angry, they never seem emotional. They're just like so, and I feel like you have to be calm in net with everything that they deal with. Maybe the least, I mean, not that he wasn't calm, but certainly the most we've heard from Andrei Vasilevskiy from a frustration standpoint ever, in my opinion, from what I remember. And obviously this is not the first time they've been bounced in the playoffs. It's not the first time they've been bounced early in the playoffs. 4 years in a row now, they've been eliminated in the first round. But it really feels like it's coming to a head. I talked on the Monday while you were out for the last day, Aaron, about whether or not that sliding glass door you and I had talked about for years had slammed shut on Sunday night, and it very much felt like it. And when you listen to the words of Andrei Vasilevskiy, he certainly sounds very, very frustrated, and he was talking about some of the comments from head coach John Cooper yesterday when he spoke to the media.
I feel like that's our excuse the last few years. Like hockey guys, bad bounces. Yeah, like bad bounces.
I just want to pause it real quick. When he says, I feel like that's our excuse the last few years, the question that was asked was something along the lines of like the hockey gods not being in your favor and the bounces just not going your way. And that's what he was referencing when he said, I feel like that's been our excuse the last few years.
And it's also something Coach Cooper has said the other day. So those are direct comments from his coach, Coach Cooper. So when he says this, he's basically going against what Coach Cooper has been saying about the hockey gods.
I think he's taking accountability. It's what it sounds like to me.
But frustration is definitely the word to use here. Here he is.
For sure, but I mean, that's at the end of the day, like, you know, it's like a broken record over and over and again. So I know we have to man up here. Again, our big players should be our best players on the ice, but again, just a part of the journey. So we'll have to work through it, and at some point it will turn our way, I hope.
I don't know how you guys feel about it, but to me that sounds like not a direct shot, but a thinly veiled shot at the Kucherovs of this team. Braden Point.
Yeah.
Specifically those two is who I look to and go, where were you? Where were you?
Yeah.
You weren't hurt. Braden Point even said it himself. He's like, nope, no injuries, nothing, no problem there. Braden Point did describe, he's like, hey, listen, some of the things that have worked for me in the past, they're not working for me right now. They caught up. So he knows that he has to address that in this offseason, say, what do I have to do to become that effective goal scorer that I've been in years past? So he's got stuff to work on this summer.
He's beaten people with speed his entire career. And if that's not going to be enough, you got to find a way to be more physical, right? Like, you don't have to be a massive guy to be physical, and Brandon Hagel shows that every night.
But Vazzy sounds really frustrated, and to me, it sounds like he's taking shots at the best players on this team. Now, what will the best players on this team do to respond? You've got all offseason. Now, the problem with Cooch is we don't know about his response really until the playoffs, because we know what type of player he is in the regular season. But there seems to be something in the playoffs, whether it's a combination of game planning against him and the frustration from Cooch that he displays does not help him out there.
No.
It can hinder you. So we won't know until next year in the playoffs of what type of Cooch we're going to get.
Here's what you do know. If you're an opponent of the Tampa Bay Lightning, when you see, to your point about Nikita Kucherov and showing the frustration, when you see that things that you're doing are frustrating him, you're only going to keep doing them. Right? Like, it is a detriment.
There's two things to this one. With Vazzy, I think he, is 100% spot on correct I also think you can kind of tell in his voice there's a little bit of I have to be better too. Like he doesn't want to hear about puck luck and bad luck when he just let in some bad goals. Like he doesn't want to hear that because he knows like the Game 5 game winner. Now the Lightning played horrible in that game, so there was other reasons they lost. And then that great play by Newhook in Game 7. But
Which is like there's nothing, and I think you make a good point, Sam. Like he is taking accountability for himself. But I still will be the guy to say that's puck luck. That was puck luck.
Well, you can say that.
Right.
And I like when a guy who's in the game doesn't want to say that. Like that might be what it is, but I'd rather he hold himself accountable, right?
I love the words from Vazzy.
And I also think he's holding his teammates accountable. And I don't know that needs to mean that he's taking a direct shot at somebody, right? That it's like, hey, like you can hold people accountable without it being a shot, right? Without it being like a problem between teammates. Like there's a real good possibility if Braden Point and Nikita Kucherov heard those words that they would totally agree with him and understand the comments. And it's if he had said like, hey, Kuch wasn't good enough, Kuch didn't try hard enough, whatever it might be. And obviously when you're talking about your biggest players being your best players, you're talking about guys like Kucherov and Point. But when you perform the way those two guys did, how do you take that as personal and not just like, that's what happened and I need to be better?
It's definitely the one thing with Vazzy too in his comment, and this goes right back to what Cooper said with the hockey gods. He's not right. He also went on to say the thing about Carolina doesn't use excuses, and that's why they're consistently in the second round. Now they seemingly choke every year. So
yeah, I thought that was an interesting example to use as Carolina.
Yeah, right.
Was, but he's saying the consistency that they play with. They might not score a lot of goals, but like that's not their MO. The Lightning's MO is to score a lot of goals, to be offensive, a firepower, or a world leader, I guess, when it comes to scoring goals. Carolina plays a grit and grind style of hockey, and they show up every night. And
Where has it gotten them, though?
And that's great, but that's what Vazzy was alluding to, is that they didn't show up.
That's what I found weird about that comment specifically. It's like if he brought up the Florida Panthers, who I know weren't in it this year, but like Carolina hasn't, even though they've been a thorn, they haven't gotten over the hump like the Lightning did twice.
Yeah, he mentioned consistency when he mentioned Carolina, so I guess that's for some reason what he sees from them. But some people think the consistency of the ice might have been the problem at Benchmark Arena when it comes to why the Lightning aren't performing well there. But I don't know if Vazzy wants to hear that either.
To be honest, I don't know. I just keep hearing guys complaining about the ice quality, between the periods. So I know I'm kind of out there in the bullpen, so I don't need much to be happy. But I know it's not a question for me. So.
You can tell he's uncomfortable by it because he has things on his chest that he wants to say. He doesn't want to throw anybody under the bus. He even notes himself. He's like, I'm the goalie. I'm looking at the blue. He's like, the ice is the ice for me. I don't think Vazzy wants to come back from every period, going into the break and the intermission and hearing guys come into the locker room complaining about the ice. I also don't think the Lightning ownership, I don't think people that run Benchmark, I don't think they want to hear anybody complaining about the quality of the ice at the home arena.
Yeah, but to be fair, he is talking about between periods, which means in the locker room, which doesn't mean publicly. So that's that's one thing. But at the same time, like I kind of wish that clip was extended a little bit because he went on to say the ice works okay for them, meaning like the Lightning's opponents, the ice hasn't impacted them as much in a negative way as you can say. You can try to say that it has impacted the Lightning. So again, I think it's about him holding people accountable. My question though would be, without knowing, did you say that during intermission? Like, were you holding guys accountable during the series? Because that might have been a better time to say, hey, shut up about the ice. Let's get out there and beat them, or whatever you need to say. I hope it was verbalized during those, because he's talking about it happening during intermission, so basically in the locker room. If guys are complaining in the locker room, you're right there. I hope you're being as vocal then as you are to the media now.
I also don't want to hear that, and we don't know the names, but I don't want to hear guys like Kucherov complaining about the ice, right? You're the leader. Even if the quality of the ice is not to where you want it to be, you bring that type of negativity into a locker room, and then it feeds. Clearly, like Vazzy heard it. He's heard it. He doesn't like it. So you got other guys, if it's coming from the top, guys that have to be leaders of this team, they should be the ones telling the other guys, hey, let's not worry about the quality of the ice. Let's go out and do our job just like they're doing, the opponents are doing, and we'll go win this game. So I want to make sure, I hope that's not coming from what should be the leaders of this team vocally.
Regardless of the sport, if you feel like your surface isn't good enough, it should be addressed, right? But not in the middle of a series that you're losing. Like, has the ice changed? Has the ice all of a sudden gotten worse in the playoffs? Why are we waiting until you just lost a series to address that? Like, let's address that way before that would be my thing. Is like, this isn't the time. And they're playing on the same ice. So when you're playing on the same surface, you can't be like, it put us at a disadvantage.
I'm glad you brought up the leadership thing quickly here, Aaron, with Kucherov. We didn't hear him talk yesterday, and I've kind of held this thought back for a while. The people that want to trade him, I think, is absolutely just nuts of you. But I will say, I'm sick of hearing him and the word leader in the same sentence. Just because someone's your best player, or one of your best players, they should probably be a technical leader. But you're talking about a guy that hardly ever speaks to the media. He didn't speak in the exit interviews yesterday. JBB had some comments about his body language. They say it's not a problem internally, but we all see it as a problem. So, yeah, as great as Nikita Kucherov is, and I'm a huge fan, I'm sick of hearing the word leader with his name because nothing he does or conducts himself, at least as we see it, as fans and as media people, nothing shows him as a leader. And
He did speak yesterday.
I didn't see any of his comments.
Yeah, he did speak yesterday. He had a few.
So I apologize if I missed yesterday, but we don't ever see him talk about after games. Like Sidney
He's
Crosby.
not. I mean, he doesn't do a good job.
That's
like at the end of the day, like he doesn't do a good job. So I don't. For me, when a guy doesn't do a good job communicating.